Understanding the Four Noble Truths, a deep dive into the foundational teachings of Buddhism. Welcome to our deep dive into the heart of Buddhist philosophy. Today, we will explore the Four Noble Truths, the foundational teachings that underpin Buddhism. These truths, first articulated by Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha, over 2,500 years ago, offer profound insights into the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. In this video, we'll journey through the core principles that form the essence of Buddhist teachings. The Four Noble Truths are not just philosophical concepts, but practical guides to transforming our lives. So let's begin by understanding what these truths are and how they can bring about a profound change in our perspective and way of living. Chapter 1. The Truth of Suffering, Dukkha. The first noble truth, known as Dukkha, often translated as suffering or unsatisfactoriness, acknowledges the inherent challenges and discomforts of human existence. In Buddhism, this truth is not merely about the obvious pains of life, such as illness, loss, and physical pain, but also about the subtler forms of dissatisfaction that permeate our daily experiences. The Buddha taught that recognizing and accepting the presence of suffering is the first step towards spiritual awakening. This truth compels us to look closely at our lives and acknowledge the various forms of suffering we experience. Dukkha is often categorized into three types. The first one is dukkha, the suffering of suffering, which includes physical pain, emotional distress, and mental anguish. This is the most apparent form of suffering, encompassing the direct experiences of discomfort and misery. Second is viparinama dukkha, the suffering of change. This type of suffering arises from the realization that everything is impermanent. Even pleasurable experiences and positive states of being are transient and will eventually change, leading to a sense of insecurity and loss. Third, sankhara dukkha, the suffering of conditioned existence. This refers to the subtle, pervasive dissatisfaction inherent in life due to its composite and conditioned nature. It highlights the fact that all phenomena are dependent on various conditions and thus inherently unstable. The Buddha's recognition of dukkha underscores a universal aspect of human life. By acknowledging that suffering is an integral part of existence, the first noble truth encourages a realistic and compassionate understanding of our own and others' experiences. It is not meant to foster pessimism, but to inspire a deeper inquiry into the causes and potential cessation of suffering. Chapter 2. The Truth of the Cause of Suffering, Samudaya. The second noble truth, Samudaya, identifies the cause of suffering. According to the Buddha, the root of all suffering lies in our cravings and attachments. Craving, or tanaha, comes in many forms. The first form is kama tanaha, the craving for sensory pleasures. This includes desires for pleasurable experiences through the five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Second is bhava tanaha, the craving for existence. This is the desire for continued existence, identity, and becoming. It can be seen in the pursuit of personal achievements, status, and immortality. Third is vibhava tanaha, the craving for non-existence. This involves the desire to escape from unpleasant situations or the wish for annihilation and non-being. These desires create a cycle of longing and dissatisfaction. When we don't get what we want, we suffer. Even when we do get what we want, the pleasure is often fleeting, leading to further craving. Craving leads to attachment, which in turn perpetuates the cycle of suffering. When we become attached to our desires and aversions, we create expectations and dependencies that inevitably lead to disappointment and pain. Ignorance is another key factor contributing to suffering. It is the ignorance of the true nature of reality, particularly the impermanent and interconnected nature of all things. This ignorance fuels our cravings and attachments, perpetuating the cycle of suffering. The Buddha taught that understanding and recognizing these cravings is essential for breaking the cycle of suffering. We must observe how our desires and attachments arise and recognize their impermanent and unsatisfactory nature. By cultivating wisdom and insight, we can begin to see through the illusions that bind us and move towards liberation. Chapter 3. The Truth of the Cessation of Suffering, Nirodha. The third noble truth, Nirodha, offers a message of hope and liberation. It teaches that the cessation of suffering is possible. By overcoming craving and attachment, one can attain nirvana, a state of ultimate peace and freedom. Nirvana, or nibbana, is not a place but a state of being characterized by the absence of suffering, desire, and delusion. It is the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice and represents the liberation from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, and the attainment of profound inner peace. The cessation of suffering involves letting go of the attachments and desires that bind us. This does not mean renouncing all pleasures or living an ascetic life, but rather understanding their transient nature and not being enslaved by them. The Buddha described nirvana as the highest happiness, a state where the mind is unshakable, not affected by external circumstances. Attaining nirvana is a profound inner stillness, freedom, and transformative experience. It is characterized by cessation of craving. The mind is free from the incessant desires and attachments that cause suffering. Inner peace, a deep and abiding sense of peace and contentment that is not dependent on external conditions. Wisdom, the realization of the true nature of reality, including the impermanence, interconnectedness, and non-self nature of all things. Chapter 4. The Truth of the Path to the Cessation of Suffering, Magga. The fourth noble truth, Magga, outlines the path to the cessation of suffering. Known as the Noble Eightfold Path, it provides practical steps to cultivate wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. The Noble Eightfold Path is divided into three categories: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Let's explore each aspect in detail. The first aspect is wisdom. These include right view, samaditthi. Right view involves understanding the Four Noble Truths and the true nature of reality. It is the foundation upon which the entire path is built. This step encourages us to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be, and recognize the impermanent and interdependent nature of all phenomena. Right intention, samma sankappa. Right intention refers to the commitment to ethical and mental self-improvement. It involves cultivating intentions of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. This step requires us to examine our motivations and align them with our ethical and spiritual goals, nurturing a mind free of ill will and harmful intentions. The second aspect is ethical conduct, which include right speech, sammavaka. Right speech emphasizes speaking truthfully, avoiding falsehoods, gossip, and harmful language. It promotes communication that is kind, useful, and encouraging. This aspect of the path teaches us to be mindful of our words, recognizing their power to heal or harm, and fostering honesty and positivity in our interactions. Right action, sammakamanta. Right action involves ethical conduct, abstaining from actions that harm others, such as killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. This step encourages us to live in a way that respects the well-being of all beings, fostering actions that contribute to the happiness and peace of others. Right livelihood, samma ajiva. Right livelihood means earning a living in a way that does not cause harm and is ethically positive. This involves choosing professions and ways of making a living that promote well-being, and do not exploit or harm others, emphasizing integrity in our work life. The third aspect is mental discipline, samadhi. These include right effort, samavayama. Right effort involves cultivating positive states of mind and dispelling negative ones. It's about making a conscious effort to develop wholesome qualities. This step is crucial for mental development, requiring vigilance and the continuous nurturing of beneficial thoughts and actions while overcoming unwholesome ones. Right mindfulness, samasati. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and aware in each moment, observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment or aversion. Mindfulness is at the heart of Buddhist practice, allowing us to live fully in the present moment, gaining insight into the true nature of our experiences and reducing unnecessary suffering. Right concentration, samasamadhi. Right concentration involves developing deep states of meditative absorption or jhana. It is focused, undistracted attention that leads to profound inner peace. Through practices like meditation, we develop the ability to focus our minds and achieve deeper levels of tranquility and insight, culminating in a calm, concentrated state that supports the realization of wisdom. The Four Noble Truths remain profoundly relevant in our contemporary world. Despite the advancements in technology and society, the fundamental human experiences of suffering, craving, and the search for meaning persist. The teachings of the Buddha offer timeless wisdom that can guide us towards a more balanced, peaceful, and fulfilling life. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards, inner peace, compassion, and ultimate liberation are profound. By internalizing these teachings and integrating them into our daily lives, we can embark on a transformative journey towards enlightenment. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the Four Noble Truths. We hope this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights into the foundational teachings of Buddhism. May you find peace and enlightenment on your path.